3 in the morning. The plates are humming. Out here, the only thing you can really rely on is the rhythm of the machinery and the ink in this pen. You see, every number, every little note, it's a conversation with the ship. You just have to know how to listen. You'll learn this your first year at sea, or you don't last long. The loudest sound is often silence. And the most dangerous event? It's the one you don't see coming. But they always whisper first. Welcome back. Today we're analyzing a vital piece from Chief Engineer Daniel G. Talioka over at chiefengineerlog.com. Now you could call him the Chief's Chief. He's the guy who's always listening for that whisper long before it ever becomes a roar. And he starts with a truth that every engineer should know deep in their bones. Look, anyone can react to an alarm going off. That's just following procedure. But the real work, the work that saves a voyage, that saves a ship, that happens hours, sometimes days, before any alarm sounds. It's about noticing the small things and understanding that nothing on a ship just breaks. It always tells you it's going to.
Okay, so let's really get into this because, most people look at a logbook and they just see paperwork, right? A chore you have to get through for compliance. But Daniel's piece completely reframes it. It's not a task, it's a tool.
And this slide just illustrates the point perfectly. On the left, that's the bureaucratic view. But on the right, that's the Chief's reality. See, machinery doesn't just snap, it drifts. Its behavior changes, but it does it gradually. A logbook isn't just a snapshot of one moment in time. It's the only place that drift, that whole story, actually gets recorded. It is, for all intents and purposes, the engine room's memory.
And to make this really concrete, Daniel gives us a perfect case study from his logs. It's a story that's told in just a few degrees, and it's all about the main engine jacket water cooling system, something every single engineer on watch knows like the back of their hand.
So here's our baseline. We're looking at 88 degrees Celsius. The automation system is perfectly happy. There are no alarms going off in the ECR. To a junior watchkeeper, this is a textbook normal watch. Nothing to see here, nothing to report.
But then you look at the logbook over a 12-hour span. At 0800, it's 88 degrees. By noon, it's ticked up to 89. 4 hours later, 90. By the time the evening watch takes over, we're at 91 degrees. It's this slow, almost invisible creep of just 3 degrees.
Now, what's so fascinating is that we're still way below the high temp alarm point. The automation is totally quiet, so Chief, on paper, everything looks fine. But the logbook here is telling us a completely different story, isn't it?
The story is the trend. That 3-degree drift, that's a massive red flag. I'm not waiting for an alarm. I'm already in diagnosis mode. Is the seawater cooler starting to foul? Is that three-way valve sticking, hunting for position? Is something putting extra thermal stress on my liners? This simple logbook entry just saved me from a major headache and an unplanned slowdown tomorrow. This right here, this is the whisper. It's this kind of frontline insight that keeps ships moving, the sort of thing Daniel covers in his technical logs over at chiefengineerlog.com. If you're not already subscribed to the technical logs at chiefengineerlog.com, you're missing the frontline insights that keep ships moving.
And this way of thinking, it goes way beyond just temperatures. Daniel's article points out all these other subtle indicators, other whispers, that a really proactive engineer is constantly on the lookout for.
Just take the purifiers, for example. If you notice the sludge cycle frequency is increasing, that's not random. That machine is telling you something about the fuel quality, or maybe there's a problem with the gravity disk. It's the same thing with exhaust temps. A gradual rise in just one cylinder could be an early sign of a fouling injector or a valve leak, long before you ever get a deviation alarm. These are the hidden patterns that only the logbook can reveal.
And this right here, this is the crucial point. A sensor can give you data, yeah, but it can't give you this. This one little note, written down by an experienced hand, can be worth more than 1,000 data points from a computer. It's a human observation. And it can be the very first sign of a turbocharger imbalance or a loose foundation bolt, things a sensor might not even pick up until it's far too late. Which really brings us to the core argument of the whole article. A logbook isn't just a record of numbers and figures. It's actually a mirror that reflects the entire culture of your engine room.
Exactly. A reactive engineer, he waits for the alarm. He spends his entire career fighting fires, one after the other. His logbook is empty, except for the numbers the form requires. But a proactive engineer, he hunts for the whispers. He prevents failures from ever happening. And his logbook is full of notes, observations, questions. He understands that prevention isn't just a part of the job, prevention is the job.
You know, I teach my team one thing above all else. Write down what you actually see, what you hear, what you feel. A simple note like, purifier discharge seems heavier than usual, tells the next watch more than a dozen perfect numbers ever could. And when that logging is consistent, watch after watch, the logbook stops being some dusty history book. It becomes a live, breathing diagnostic tool. It's intelligence, passed from one mind to the next.
In the end, it all just comes down to discipline. The machinery never, ever lies. It is constantly communicating its state, its health. The only question is whether or not you have the focus and the discipline to listen to its story and to write it down for the next person.
So the real takeaway here is that the logbook is the foundation of a reliable, well-run engine room. It's the difference between truly managing your ship and just reacting to it. If you want to put these ideas into practice, visit chiefengineerlog.com and download Daniel's full logbook audit checklist. It's an absolutely excellent resource.